Hi everyone, in today's video I want to show you how to draw faces step by step. First we'll construct a made-up face to break down the proportions, and then we will learn how to draw and simplify individual facial features. Start by drawing a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Use light pressure and let your pencil glide in a circular motion a few times until the shape feels right. Once you are happy with it, divide it into 4 equal sections to set up the basic structure. This horizontal line marks where the eyebrows will sit. I will let you sketch them in as a simple guide. For now, just follow along, preferably with a pencil in your hand, as the face starts to take shape. The vertical line acts as the face's central axis. Now focus on the space between the eyebrows and the top of the circle. Divide it into thirds. The hairline will sit about 2/3 above the eyebrows. Now look at the space between the eyebrows and the bottom of the circle. Divide it into thirds. About 2/3 down is where the nose line sits. Notice how the distance from the hairline to the eyebrows matches the distance from the eyebrows to the nose. Now extend the vertical axis beyond the circle. To find the chin and determine the length of the face, take the same distance from the eyebrows to the nose and apply it downwards. You will see that the face is made up of 3 equal thirds below the hairline. To complete the face shape, trim the sides of the circle slightly. The circle represents the cranium, which is more like a ball flattened on the sides. Now connect these edges down to the chin to form the jawline. Remember to add a bit of hair above the circle. Since the circle represents the bony part of the skull, hair naturally adds extra volume on top. This is important for placing the eyes correctly. If you take the full length of the face from the top of the head to the chin, excluding the hairstyle, and divide it in half, that's where the eyes will sit. On this line, you can place the eyes. A good rule of thumb is that the space between them is about the width of one eye, almost as if a third eye could fit in between. The corners of the nose typically align with the inner corners of the eyes, so I like to start drawing the nose first as a reference. To place the mouth, focus on the space between the nose and chin. Divide this area into thirds. The bottom third is where the chin sits. The center of the mouth, the darkest point between the lips, will be in the upper third. The mouth is usually as wide as the center of the eyes, which can help you place it correctly. So to quickly recap, remember important thirds of the face. First third is from the hairline to eyebrows, second third from eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and third from the bottom of the nose to the chin. Ears fit neatly into the middle third, lining up with the eyebrows and bottom of the nose. I will try to clean up the practice sketch a little bit, and then we will draw the face from the side using the exact same principles. Drawing features from the side helps us understand the real form of the face better, even though this view might seem a little more complex. Again, we will start with a simple circle and divide it into 4 equal parts. The middle horizontal line aligns with the eyebrows, which look slightly shorter from the side than from the front. Using the same measurements as before, place the hairline and the nose line. Now extend the axis downwards to find the chin and then connect it to the circle. From this side view, the chin usually meets the circle around its midpoint. Now let's focus on the bottom third of the face. Divide this area into thirds again to find the mouth placement. Drawing the mouth from the side means noticing how both lips curve, the top lip curving downwards and the bottom lip upwards. The chin also sticks out slightly, creating a subtle indentation between itself and the lower lip. Find the eye line in the middle of the full length of the face and sketch in a simple eye shape. From the side view, eye can appear much shorter. You can think of them as a small triangle to start with. Next, sketch in some hair to define the hairline a bit more clearly, and then add the ear. From this side view, you can easily see the ear sits just behind the face on the back half of the original circle. This positioning is often less obvious in front views, but from the side, it's much clearer. So that's the basic structure of the face from both the front and the side views. Sketch this several times to get comfortable with the positions of eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Once you've practiced this, drawing portraits from different angles and reference photos becomes much easier. Now let's quickly go over how to draw simplified facial features, starting with the eyes. Traditionally, we think of eyes as a simple almond shape with circle inside. But if we want to draw eyes more realistically, we have to remember that the eye is actually a sphere that's covered by upper and lower eyelids. So we need to pay attention to its rounded form. Keep this rounded form in mind when drawing the upper and the lower eyelid over the sphere. On one side, there's a tear duct sitting just outside the ball shape, while on the other side, the eyelids connect right at the edge of the sphere. Depending on the type of eyes you're drawing, you might also want to sketch in the edge of the eyelids. Remember, eyelids have thickness. This is especially visible on the lower lid since it's facing upwards. Often you'll notice it as a small lighter area just below the iris. You can add some eyelashes if you'd like, but keep in mind that in portraits drawn from a distance, individual lashes usually aren't visible. They're often unnecessary unless you're working on a close-up. Just to recap and reinforce this point, the eye is the most important and complex feature in portrait drawing. A useful way to simplify eyelids is to replace the typical almond shape with two straight lines for each lid. These lines should follow the natural curve of the eyelids as they wrap around the eye. Notice how the upper eyelid slightly covers the top part of the iris, while the lower part of the iris circle usually remains fully visible. When I'm drawing eyes from reference photos, placing the iris correctly can be pretty tricky at first. Instead, to get more accurate results, I usually focus on the white spaces on either side of the iris. These shapes are simple triangles and they're typically easier to get right and adjust as needed. Finally, let's look at the eye from the side view, which can be simplified into a triangular shape. Notice how both eyelids curve outward slightly, giving the eye some depth. From this angle, the iris, which looks perfectly round from the front, appears flattened into more of an oval or disc shape. The nose is such a cool feature. To better understand its complex structure, let's first simplify it into basic shapes. Imagine the nose in its simplest form as a triangular prism. It has a clear left and right side, and at the bottom, two nostrils. Now try drawing that triangular prism again, but this time add 3 little circles or cushions, as I like to think of them, to mark 3 key areas: the tip of the nose and the 2 sides or wings of the nose. The nostrils fit nicely in between these 3 cushions. With these circles added, the nose suddenly has a more rounded and natural shape. But thanks to our prism, we understand exactly how everything fits together. In this third drawing, you can simplify the nose even further. Now that you've got a good feel for its structure, you don't even need the prism. Just start with a simple oval shape for the base, add those 3 cushions, place your nostrils, and you're all set. For some portraits, though, you might need to indicate the bridge of the nose a bit more clearly, using subtle shading to define its form. This usually applies more to male portraits, since men typically have a slightly more pronounced bridge of the nose. Now, let's quickly explore 2 more extreme angles. First, when viewing the nose from below, you will notice the nostrils appear wider and more prominent. From this angle, you can clearly see how the tip of the nose extends forward, sitting distinctly ahead of the 2 side cushions. When viewing the nose from above, the nostrils are barely visible. From this angle, you will only see a subtle, delicate curve between the cushions, hinting at their presence. Let's take a closer look at simplifying the mouth. Most people think of it as a simple line with 2 curves representing the upper and the lower lip. The central line is indeed essential, but before drawing it, it is helpful to identify 3 key points: the 2 corners of the mouth and the small V shape right in the middle. These points tend to be the darkest, deepest spots, and once you have marked them, you can easily connect them with a softer, gentle line. I like to add 2 rounded shapes or cushions for the upper lip and a single oval-shaped cushion for the lower lip. This helps me better capture the rounded, soft form of the lips. You can gently indicate how these cushions connect to create a soft border for the upper and lower lip, but focus only on the central area. Avoid fully connecting this line to the corners of the mouth, as doing so can often flatten the drawing. In reality, the border between lips and surrounding skin is typically just a very subtle shift in tone rather than a distinct line. The upper lip often appears darker due to its downwards facing position, while the lower lip, facing upwards towards the light source, appears lighter. Usually, it's helpful to indicate a stronger shadow directly beneath the lower lip to further enhance the lip's form. From the side view, lips can be simplified into a basic triangular shape. Start by dividing it in half, then gently sketch in the curves of the upper and lower lip. From this angle, notice clearly how the upper lip plane points downward while the lower lip faces upward. Remember to include the subtle indentation between the lower lip and chin to make the mouth structure more realistic. The last facial feature, which often doesn't get enough attention because it's frequently hidden in portraits, is the ear. As we've learned, ears align within the middle third of the face, lining up with eyebrows and the base of the nose. The top part of the ear tends to stick out a bit more freely from the head, while the bottom part attaches more closely. Generally, ears are wider at the top and taper down, becoming narrower toward the bottom. You can simplify the inner part of the ear into 3 main sections. The smallest and darkest rounded area at the bottom is the opening of the ear canal. Above it is another rounded area. Lastly, the fold at the top can be represented with a simple curved line that connects with the previous 2 areas. This is how the ear looks when you're drawing a face from the side, but from the front, ears appear narrower. You'll mostly see the outer fold at the top. The inner details become much less visible. There's obviously much more to portrait drawing and painting than these foundational principles that we went over today. But hopefully this simplified approach feels manageable and less overwhelming. I think overwhelm is the biggest thing that can stall your progress, so just remember starting simple is always better. You can add complexity once you're more comfortable drawing basic faces. In the next video, I will show you how to draw faces from different angles along with some incredibly effective exercises that will help you improve your drawings fast. If you'd like to stay updated, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.